We're really glad to be joining you here on Facebook and have an incredible lineup of people here to talk to us about this really important issue. My name is Kaji Dosha, and I am co-chair of the Board for New Sanctuary, and really grateful to be here with this group of people who are here to help us understand what is happening with Shakoure and what we can do to support. So I believe we're live. Is the tech working the way we need it to? I think so. Okay, great. So I'm going to just kick it over to the folks who've been doing this incredible work. And first, I just want to take a look and see if we have any questions from the press. Go ahead and put that in Facebook on the chat, and we will see it, and then we'll get a chance to answer questions as they come in. Okay, thank you very much. And next, I'm just going to kick it over to Imam Ibadwali. Thank you so much, Imam.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Alhamdulillah, all praise are for God. Today, we are all united here against injustice. Although I am one Imam, I'm speaking the sentiments that I'm sharing with you. I am certain they are from all faiths, all community leaders, all religious leaders, that this type of injustice should not happen to anyone. We're talking about a person who's a citizen. I'm talking about a person who's a human being, to be separated from a family, to have served the punishment for a crime that what he was accused of and sentenced to for 30 years ago, to have committed that crime and then served the time, and then after that being released on good behavior early, having completed his bachelor's and master's degree while in prison, and having created a non-for-profit organization after that to help other young individuals who may be caught in such a difficult situation in a young time, in a time in their life they are not fully aware of their situation, to help them and to serve his community. That's something that he is now known for, and to now being taken in and deportation proceedings happening for him to be taken out of the country when he is a U.S. citizen. And like I said, prior to just being a U.S. citizen, just on a level of humanity, it is unjust. It is an act of oppression for us to stay silent, for us to do nothing when this kind of atrocities are taking place right in front of our doors. We all together are united in standing against this type of oppression. A man who is a citizen, whose father served in the U.S. Air Force. He was born in Germany simply because his father was serving in the U.S. Air Force, and knows only knows Dunkin' Donuts and Pizza Huts because he grew up in America, doesn't have any other place, doesn't know any other home except for this country, to be deported to a country that he is not even familiar, doesn't speak the language. This is beyond oppression. And I, along with all community leaders, I'm sure I'm sharing their sentiment that we stand united against this type of behavior. We request Governor Cuomo to show clemency and to prevent and become a blockade in the ICE proceedings that are taking place, to prevent this type of atrocity from taking place, and for our brother Pascal Shakoure to stay united, to stay together with his family, and to not be held accountable for a crime for which he has already served the time. This is, again, not acceptable. And I thank you for your time, and I hope that we are able to accomplish our goal together.
Thank you so much, Imam. And we are just so grateful for all of your leadership on this. And I believe now we do have Shakoure on the line from detention, where he has no reason to be. And we just want to give him a chance to talk to us. I believe he gets 5 minutes on the phone. So thank you. And Shakoure, we'd love to hear from you.
Go ahead.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I hope that the sound of my voice can reach you clearly. And what I'm about to say does have an effect on your compassion as human beings, as fellow citizens in this country, because I do need your help. as you know, and just as was just eloquently stated, I am being detained at the county jail for the past 4 months because this government believes that it is better served in their interest to deport someone who has lived virtually their entire life in this country, despite having contributed in a number of ways to the improvement of our communities, working in different entrepreneurial fields, having attained academic achievements, and more importantly, being part of a large family, all of whom are American citizens, and they find more value in deporting someone like that to a country I wasn't born in, I never lived in, I have no legal status in. And so this begs the question, what kind of country do we live in that believes this is not only legal, but has some value to it? And I refuse to believe that this is something that our country should simply let go by because of legalities and technicalities and what documents can be found or what documents have not been surfaced. At the end of the day, there is a family that has been rooted in this country just as much as anyone else and should be afforded the right to stay intact. And I think that is a human right for families to be able to stay together, not simply because of the technicality of the law, separated and forced to face, the immense loss and pain that comes as the consequence. So I want to first, before closing, send my heartfelt thank you to anyone and everyone, both on this call and those who are not, simply for caring about an issue like this and for demonstrating some support and for calling on the governor to issue a executive pardon. For a case that is 30 years old, that occurred when I was a teenager, and for which I overpaid my debt to society. And it seems like I'm still paying for it today. Well, you just can't point to an unjust conviction stemming from a time I was a teenager, and then 30 years later say, oh, by the way, after you've done everything you're supposed to and more, we also want you out of the country. I think, as I'm sure many of you do, that is an outrage. And so this is why I am beseeching you, I am imploring you, you and those that you know, to join the struggle to say to this deportation machine, no, this is not acceptable. And with that, I don't want to take too much time. If there's any question or two, I'd be glad to answer. If not, I'll just listen on to what the next speaker has to say.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us. And we join in outrage and shock. Although it seems like ICE can never shock us more, then they come up with something even more cruel, like your situation. We see a lot of comments. There are so many people on Facebook who are just sending you messages of love and support. And I thought if I could, I would share a few of those with you. you know, people are saying that they stand united with you, sending you love, and let's see, prayers for sure, support to you and your family. Everybody's just saying that you have their support. So just wanted you to know that we have a number of people, and we're really starting to gain some traction on people understanding what's happening, and it sounds like people have your back. We see this as your issue, and we also see it as our issue, because the more that ICE gets away with these ridiculous injustices, the more danger the rest of us are all in. And this is completely unacceptable, and we are all going to fight really hard with and for you. How are you? How's your soul?
That's something I usually don't think about until the end of the day when I'm locked in, behind this concrete and steel cell. And it's hard. But I'm resilient, and it's mostly because of prayer and because of people like yourselves that are saying, hey, this is an issue that deserves some attention and needs redress, with a sense of justice and fairness. And so that's what keeps me afloat on a daily basis.
What is your life like in detention? I know that people don't necessarily have a strong picture of what this is like there.
I like to describe it akin to a human storage locker. Mm. And it basically I'm on a unit that has about 30 cells. Each cell is a double bunk unit. And so it's very desolate. There's nothing here except tables, a TV, and a microwave to warm up some hot water, and these phones, which are our only way of communicating with the outside world besides pen and paper and a stamp. So distraction is probably one of the ways that you don't allow the walls of this space to just like squeeze the life out of you. And so I read, I'm constantly writing. I'm a screenwriter at the heart. I'm an entrepreneur by passion. And so I'm constantly writing my ideas, revising, and, trying to stay productive in that way.
Are you allowed to go outside or to have some fresh air or sunshine?
No, as far as I know, there are no outdoor spaces that we can do that. I've basically been in this unit for weeks on end. The only thing I go out for is, for example, my ICE video court hearing, and on occasion they may call you for like a medical issue or something like that. But otherwise, my life for the time being, 24/7 is inside this unit.
And what are they doing about this pandemic? Are you getting any protections?
So yeah, once a week we get a mask. That's about it. They do provide us with soap to wash hands, and fortunately there has not been an outbreak here. But I can't imagine if someone were to come in with the who is infected and ends up spreading it. I really wouldn't have to describe to you, you know, the remainder of that story. So, in essence, it's pretty much like, you know, a powder keg just waiting to explode if, you know, an infection was to find its way inside.
Well, indeed, you're at Bergen, right? Bergen County Jail.
Yeah, this is Bergen County Jail in Hackensack, Jersey. Not sure why I was assigned this facility. It's, from what I understand, very disciplinary, kind of like a punitive jail. It's, you know, there's very little that you can do in terms of getting issues redressed. They don't respond to your grievances. They kind of like brush under the rug, you know, issues of sanitation. I mean, the list goes on. But, you know, what can you do? It's like you just pray that you don't get sick, you don't end up needing emergency medical attention, you know, until you can somehow find your way out.
It's just, it's horrible. I mean, just every part of your situation is just unthinkable. And just so you know, there have been cases of the coronavirus at Bergen County Jail. And in fact, they had one of the first outbreaks of any detention center prison in the country. So it's incredible to me. You said the only protection you're getting is a bar of soap and one mask a week, right? Do the guards wear masks?
Well, there's masks, but there's no mask enforcement, to put it like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, who am I to tell you know, a uniformed officer, you know, you need to have your mask on? That's like kind of asking for it. So, you know, unfortunately, most do, some don't.
And have you ever received a COVID test while you've been in detention?
Yeah, I initially when I first got here, the first day they did a saliva test, which at the time I don't even think it was approved by the FDA to administer, but they did a saliva test, and everyone that I came with, I believe, tested negative. And so after the initial quarantine, they moved us to a larger unit, which is designated for ICE detainees only. And I use that term detainees in quotation marks because basically, you know, I am a prisoner, as the uniform, the jumpsuits that they give us have a bold sign saying Bergen County Prisoner.
It's just incredible. In prison for what? This is ridiculous. And I mean, you all need to be freed. There's no reason to be holding anybody in immigration detention right now. So how are the spirits or of the other folks in detention with you?
Okay, so officer just announced 5 minutes. Well, demographically, I would say 90% are Central American. You do have a few that are from the Caribbean. So most of the quote-unquote detainees here don't speak English. So I do communicate with them on a limited basis. But the stories that I do end up hearing are just horrendous. There's at least maybe 3 individuals here that I know that have been here 3 years. And, you know, because they don't have resources, they don't have, you know, English maybe as their first language, or, you know, it's just simply that they have chosen to continue to fight to stay here with their families, you know, they've just sacrificed 3 years of their lives, you know, just for a chance to make that happen. You know, so you have 60 seconds remaining. Very heartbreaking.
So it sounds like in the very limited communication time that you have, that they just cut you right off. And I realize that's going to happen any minute now. Do you just, is there any last thing you would like to say before ICE cuts you off?
Of course, you know, all of you have my immense gratitude. You have 30 seconds remaining. I am hoping that, you know, stories like this can reach those with the power to exact change and reform. And maybe this could be the start of that. You know, or, you know, just another step up that ladder. So the appreciation is always with you in my heart.
We love you.
Wow.
That's
Wow. That's just, we just need to take a moment. Thank you. Thank you for letting us hear from him. And I do hope that you will let him know that we have over 80 people who were listening in on what he had to say, and what I hope every one of those 80 people will commit to is making sure that we stay listening to him and the others who are facing such ridiculous injustice. So, okay. What I'd love to do now is invite Khalil Cumberbatch, a friend of Shakoure's, to speak to us. And Khalil, just go ahead and unmute yourself. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me. My apologies in advance. My comments are going to be very short and succinct. One, because it's very hard to follow Shakoure's words, not only because he is smart and he's brilliant, but also because of his current situation. But also because I have another call, unfortunately, that I have to jump off to attend. But it is great to be here to support Shakoure, to support Nathalie, Julie, and the amazing team that he has that's really pushing on all fronts to make sure that his story is being told as much as possible. To all of the 80 people on this call, I would urge you to think about at least 2 people that you can tell his story to, who are willing to do something, or willing to sign a petition, willing to share on social media, or willing to make phone calls. That's the only way that we're going to be a force multiplier, is by telling his story. Secondly, I want to say that I wouldn't be, quite literally wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a similar effort that everyone is trying to pull together right now. I myself was in immigration detention. I know exactly those conditions that Shakoure were explaining. Obviously, this was prior to COVID, but there is a lot that still exists. And it brought me back to my 5.5 months in detention. Obviously, I'm standing here because of my wife, who I look at Nathalie, and I can relate so much to her struggle because my wife went through a similar one. But also because of advocates like Ravi and others who really spoke up for me and really told my story to as many people as they possibly could. So one day Shakoure will be standing here doing the same thing for someone else. I'm thoroughly convinced of that, not only because of all of the positive things that he's put forth, but because of all of this that we are looking at. All of us are here because of Shakoure. That is just one example of how powerful one person can be. His power and his presence is too mighty to be in another country. I think ultimately the government will understand that. And then the last thing I'll say is that, you know, once we get Shakoure home, and I mean, even once this administration changes, the reality is that the immigration machine that this administration is wielding wasn't built by this administration. I would urge us to remember that our president-elect was vice president when they deported more people in their 8 years than in the previous 100 combined. So much more work to be doing, unfortunately. First, obviously, the priority is to get Shakoure home and get him home to Nathalie and their beautiful family, which we will win that. We have to state that and believe that. We have to stay positive and stay strong and hear his words as encouragement during that process, but I do believe that we will get there. And then lastly, again, to just thank everyone. I am but one of many people trying to do the best that we can to spread Shakoure's story and to spread his struggle. But there are many others who are lifting much more mightier than I. And I just wanted to take the time to thank them because, again, for someone who was in a similar situation, I know the power and might that lift collectively can bring. So thank you again for making time for me to just say a few words. I appreciate you all. I respect you all. I admire you all. And thank you. And Nathalie, please give my thanks and appreciation to Shakoure when you speak to him later.
Thank you, and God bless you. And I'd love now to invite Nathalie to speak. You are muted, so just go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Nathalie, I'm Shakoure's fiance. Oh, wow. Sorry. Just this separation, this detention has affected me in so many ways, you know, emotionally, spiritually, financially, family-wise, just, you know, knowing he's not present, he's not there, coming from a long day of work. He usually always just makes sure he has a warm meal for me. We always talk about each other's day, how productive it is, you know, and, you know, watch television together. Just the quality time is just missing. He's like my best friend as well. You know, my daughter's birthday's tomorrow, and she's under the impression that, you know, he might be here tomorrow, but we're like, he's not gonna be here. But it's hard on especially my daughter, because my daughter is 10. So it's really, it definitely has affected her a lot. She has somewhat of an idea what's going on, but she believes, you know, that he's at work, doing something for the youth. But it's been tough, you know. July 6th, you know, having I think probably 7 or 10 ICE cops just coming to your house, waking him up 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, saying that, you know, he's being arrested and he's considered deportable, you know, to a country that he's never been. He doesn't know anything about the culture. He doesn't know the language. You know, he was, again, all his life he's been here. He's born in the U.S. Army Air Force base in Germany. So it's been rough. It's a nightmare. Still surreal to both of us, actually. And it's been very emotionally frustrating for me. I find myself a little bit more on the depressed side, feeling a little bit alone, although I have, you know, many supports for him, although we talk every day. And it's like he seems to be more concerned about me, my welfare, than his. You know, he calls me, how are you doing? You know, make sure you're eating, make sure you're taking your vitamin. I need you to sleep. You know, and he even tells his mother, you know, I'm more worried about Natalie. I'm more worried about, you know, you know, my stepdaughter, my stepson, not more so me. But I'm still trying to deal with it. You know, every week I've been going to court. It's the same nonsense every week, not being able to release all the records that's needed. It's just a back and forth. And it's like, you're holding him for what? On what grounds? He has a media business. He has a nonprofit organization. He's a great family man. Although my kids are not his biologicals, but you know, he took over the role as if they're his. And it's, you know, it's terrible. It's just terrible. Someone so good, so genuine, so pure, his soul, his faith in God, everything about him is just, you know, I'm in shock. I'm really, really in shock. And, you know, I believe he's a great impact to not only to my kids, but to the children of the world, period, no matter what the color, the gender, the religion, you know, in regards to them working hard towards their goals, education, achievements. And, you know, hopefully he always wanted to make sure that young youths would contribute to their communities as well, like he's done and still is doing. But he's, you know, he's my rock. He personifies a man who I know and believe first, he's very faithful to God, to Allah. He's remarkable, he's resilient. Again, he's not only a role model for my kids, but for, you know, all the children. And he truly makes a difference in our society. And that's why obviously he always wants it. That's why he has a nonprofit organization to help mentor young youth from falling into the traps of this injustice jail system. And he helps them find ways, positive ways to succeed and continue their education. And it's someone like that is what we need in this world. And it's just, they just come and just strip him away as if, you know, it's like they don't want anyone good or anyone that's positive like that out in the world. Instead, they want to keep him locked in. I'm not sure why. I don't know if they make money off of him. I'm just not sure. Still so confused about this whole ordeal. So, I mean, just, you know, every day I pray. I pray more than ever with him. He prays in Arabic and, you know, and I recite it in English together. We do that, you know, almost every night. And he always tell me, you know what, you know, all this is happening for a reason. And he believes that his faith in Allah is going to get him through this. And he knows he'll be out and he's going to do bigger and greater things. And we'll, you know, continue our family. And I'm always going to be there. I'm going to stay strong. And yeah, I'm still going to continue fighting for him no matter what. Definitely. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, there are just so many, I don't know if you can see the comments, but, you know, people really want you to understand that they are with you. I wondered if you might be able to, oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's just so important that you know that you are not alone in this effort that you should never have had to take on in the first place.
Thank you.
And sometimes when you don't have the strength, you know, that's what the community is for. That's what this rally is. You know, we do this so that you know that people are with you and so they can know more of your story. And also just join in your rage and your sadness and your grief, and to say we join in hope too, because we know that this is so wrong. As soon as everybody knows about it, we're going to make sure he gets out and that he never has to deal with this again.
Thank you.
The whole community is behind you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you for your time. And let's see, of course you can drop back in just a moment, but I want to now kick things over to Marlene. And Marlene, you'll want to unmute yourself, Mama, or get help unmuting. There you go.
Okay, hello? Yes, can you, oh, I heard myself, so. Hi, everybody. Hi, Judy. I'm here.
Welcome.
Hi, Marlene.
We're so glad to hear from you. So if you could tell everyone who's listening about who you are and tell them about your son and anything that you feel is important for the audience to hear.
Yes, of course. First of all, my name is Marlene. As everybody knows, I'm Pascal's mother. And everything that's going on with him hurt me so bad because I've been through it before for 24 years. And now it seems like I'm back again. And I don't think a mother should be suffering so much, you know? And oh my God. It's just that Pascal doesn't deserve what's going on, what they're doing to him. Because after 24 years, I thought that he was going to come home and do what he needed to do to have his life back, because he spent most of his years incarcerated. And it's so unfair what they're doing to him. And I'm praying God that he will be released soon so he could start his life the way he wanted to. And he is such a good person. Pascal is so loving, so sweet. Even as a boy, he was, he was like my baby, and he's still my baby. And I'm praying God that something would be done as soon as possible, because he suffered too much. It's time for him to have a good life, just like everyone else, the way he deserves to live his life.
Thank you so much, Marlene. It's an honor to hear from you. I wondered if you might be able to tell people about where he was born, and people, would love to know that story. Tell them about you and his father.
Yes, he was born in Germany, and I came back from Germany with him when he was like 2 months old, and he never been anyplace else. We live in the United States ever since. He never been to any place else except for the United States. And he never been to Haiti. He doesn't know Haiti. He doesn't speak the language. So he's an American citizen. And that's where he belongs. He belongs to stay here.
And why were you in Germany? I know, but many people don't know this part of the story.
Okay, I was in Germany because my ex-husband, Pascal's father, was stationed there because he was serving the U.S. Air Force. Mm-hmm. And then that's where we were stationed in Germany. And he was born in Germany in a U.S. hospital. That's where during my pregnancy, that's where I go, because I was a dependent of the Army as well.
Right. So his father was in the Air Force. You were there living together. He was born there. Both of you, U.S. citizens. He was a U.S. citizen, is a U.S. citizen as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
So it boggles the mind. This is really an attack on military families, and it's an attack on Black people in particular. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we join you in your frustration and struggle. Do you have anything else you'd like to add at this point, or?
I just want to say thank you very much for everyone that's supporting him and everyone that is praying for him. And I want to thank Natalie, his fiance. I want to thank my daughter, Martine, the Hydra, my husband, Ronald, and Judy, his lawyer, who's been fighting very hard, and also Nicole, that I never get to meet, but one day I hope to see her in person. And I want to thank every single person that was helping him, that praying for him. And I know that we're going to win this. We are going to win it.
That's absolutely right.
With the help of God, I know we are going to win.
Amen.
Because I remember one day I had asked him, I said to him that, I don't want you to give up. And then his answer was to me that, Mommy, I don't have it on my DNA to ever give up in anything. I'm a fighter and I'm going to fight.
Amen. That's right. And he doesn't have to fight alone. We are with you. So
thank you so much. I appreciate that deeply.
Yes. Well, I'd love to invite Ravi from New Sanctuary to speak.
Thank you, Pastor Kaji. There's a lot to talk about here, but I will be short and talk about what was Shakoure doing. What was he doing when they picked him up? He was being a father, he was being a husband, he was being an advocate, he was being a supporter of his community, he was being there for people, right? Because ICE and already this administration talks about threat to society and flight risk. What was Shakoure doing? Shakoure was being a loving person, not only to his loved ones, but to those who needed his help. He was being there for them. What is the reason for them to pick him up now? And I want to emphasize that. Why did they have to pick him up now? We're in a pandemic where people's lives are in danger. It is intentional to cause harm and to put people in this life-threatening situation. So that when New Sanctuary, when I say that this agency, I can relate this agency to Nazi Germany and to the ethnic cleansing of our community, this is the proof of that. He did not have to be taken away. What is the purpose for having Shakoure picked up and taken into detention while he's fighting his claim? Now we also have, they're saying he's not a citizen. They're saying he's not a citizen. And I'm going to let the attorney Julie answer that. Yet they refuse to give documentation to prove their case. An agency, again, that works in the darkness and in the harshness of the evil that they perpetrate. So when we talk about this agency needing to be abolished, we are speaking at it because of not only the policy itself, but the agency that is being created and the ICE officers who are making these decisions. So we need to have a reckoning. I will repeat that word, a reckoning, because this is not their job to put people in lives in danger. No one's life should be in danger when we have life-threatening situations like this pandemic. We need to stop that, and we need to hold them accountable for all of that. But more importantly, we need to connect to Governor Cuomo. Cuomo needs to hear our voices, and whatever happens, Shakoure needs to be pardoned. I will repeat that again. Shakoure needs to be pardoned. So everyone, our focus today and moving forward is to get the governor to sign a pardon for Shakoure. To sign a pardon for Shakoure. That's priority, but as high a priority as we need to be is to get him out of detention. He should not be there, and we need to get him out. And if they still want to fight him, he needs to be outside to do that. I am here for him. I have been in detention. I'm seeing Edwin here. You talked about Khalil. It brings back memories. Ooh, it brings back a lot of trauma. I was in Bergen County. I had many interactions with not only the ICE officers, but the Bergen County officers who treated us less than human. Less than human. So I will end with the fact I'm going to repeat what is our next steps. Cuomo, right? I know Freedom to Thrive sent out a link to how to connect Cuomo. Click on that link, call Cuomo. Get two, as Khalil said, get two others to call Cuomo. And secondly, then we have to apply pressure to get him released. I am here for you, Julie. Whatever, we are backing you. Natalie, we are here. And the pain that you have felt, my wife feels that all the time because I'm still fighting this, but you have to stay strong. He has to be strong during this process. Thank you, everyone, for being there as a team, for showing up, and for knowing, and we know that we will be going to win this, as everyone said. Kaji?
Thank you so much, Ravi, and thank you for your leadership on this. So I would love now to invite Shakoure's lawyer, Julie, to speak.
Good afternoon. I just want to thank everybody. On all the cases that I've worked on, it's been amazing having a team. And I think why it's so important is, of all the cases that I've ever worked on, this case in every area exemplifies a broken system. There is, from the fact of the first immigration judge who actually was in the very office as an attorney and then took the bench and found it that she could rule and preside over this case, to the current judge who has not only denied his right to records, which the government is not turning over, but there are certain things that need to be highlighted about this case. First of all, this is a man that was born on a U.S. military base while his father was serving in the Vietnam War. He entered the United States at 2 months old. Both of his parents are citizens, and the records to prove that are with the government. And the government has been playing games after games after games. And people like Susan Egan and Genevieve Kim, who have access to this records and under Dint v. Holder are required to turn over the alien file, have done everything not to do that. The judge has refused to issue subpoenas. And this is when I say a broken system. When you have judges and the same people that are prosecuting you working for the same boss, it's problematic. It's extremely problematic. And I believe truly that he's a citizen, and all I'm asking for is documents. Turn over the documents one way or the other. What is being hidden? Why is it the government is not turning over these records? When he was in detention, or when he was in jail, ICE had placed a hold on him, saying that they thought he might be an alien. They removed that hold because they determined he's a citizen, and he was released into the community, and he did amazing, amazing things. I mean, I'm at awe when I look at where he came from, the struggle he had, and how many at-risk youth he's helping, and what he did in his 5 years. And during that 5 years, and since he was born, he's always believed to be a citizen. So how is it that the government can question someone's citizenship after all of these years, after releasing him, saying he was a citizen, if people of color can continue to have their citizenship questions? And that's what's happening. And it's being covered up by an EOIR court and a DHS counsel who all work under the executive branch. And this, like I said, this case is highlights the problems. And as Shakoure's friend pointed out, you know, this administration has stepped up the persecution, but this did not start under this administration. This has been going on for a very, very long time. And at this point, because the government is allowed to operate in the dark, and because the government is getting away with not turning over records, his only hope to protect his US citizenship at this point, I believe, is Governor Cuomo. And this man, if I've ever worked on any case, this man is so deserving of a pardon. He's just unfortunately been dealt some bad cards, and I can't implore everybody enough to please reach out to Governor Cuomo, please ask for a pardon, and whatever pressure can be placed on DHS to turn over the records that they're required to turn over, which week after week, the judge in this case has us coming back every single week, and still we don't have a single document. And those were filed on July 23rd of 2020, right when he was detained.
Julie, we're really grateful that you are fighting so hard in this case, because it's important for him and his family, but it's also important for all of us. If they could take his citizenship away, they can take any of our citizenships away. It's all a farce. So thank you, and we're fighting right with you. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next I would love to invite Deirdre to share with us.
Hi, thank you very much. And I'm so appreciative of everybody being here. You know, from the time that Shakoure was a young man, the crush of this racist system and a criminal justice system that's like tainted by the birthmarks of Jim Crow has ruled his life. He was arrested for joyriding in a friend's car. He didn't know it was stolen. I mean, how would a young white kid in the same circumstance be treated? And then he was railroaded and bullied by the same detectives who got false confessions out of the Central Park 5 kids. And then they manufactured a confession in the Brian Watkins case. He was over prosecuted, being charged with felony murder, which says if anybody dies during the commission of a felony, everybody gets charged with murder. He was overpunished by a judge who the lawyers used to call the time machine because of his long sentences. He served his time. He used every opportunity that he had to engage in positive rehabilitation, and he got out of jail and he began to thrive. And then Trump ordered this expansion of those eligible for deportation, and ICE went on the hunt. And if people of color are racially profiled, if they have more interactions with the police, it's no surprise that immigrants of color are arrested and deported at much higher rates than whites. But the racism doesn't stop there because Shakoure isn't an immigrant. His father was sworn in as a U.S. citizen during his service during the Vietnam War, during basic training. When Shakoure was born on a U.S. Air Force base, he got citizenship from his father, but ICE refuses to honor that promise that was made by the U.S. government. I met Shakoure in 2012 at Otisville Correctional Facility, and I've known him for 8 years. He is a good man. He deserves to be treated with respect. His life matters, and everything he's built is being taken away. So I call on ICE to honor the citizenship Shakoure's father passed down to him as a legacy. And I call on Andrew Cuomo to sign the clemency now. Don't wait for Christmas. Don't wait for New Year's. Give this man back his life and his family. So free Pascal Shakoure Charpentier.
Thank you very, very much. That's just so powerful. And thank you for highlighting his story in a way that is so crisp and clear. I'd love to now invite Jamila Rose from Public Advocate Jamani Williams' office. Thank you for joining us, Jamila.
Thank you, Kaji, for inviting our office to participate and just express our concerns about what we see that's happening right now with Shakoure, and not just Shakoure, but just the injustices that has been happening to people all across the country who are in positions just similar to what he is in right now. And when we first learned of his situation, and I met with the family, and I spoke with his beautiful fiance and with his dad, and I heard, you know, the circumstances that he was in, it's definitely worth sharing and spreading this knowledge and getting the community involved so that people can really know what is being fought for. And what is being fought for is justice for a man named Shakoure who was born on a military base, and he is a U.S. citizen and a Queens resident. He is a resident of the city of New York and is currently detained because of, as many have mentioned before, a broken immigration system. And as someone has mentioned also, it is broken, yes, but it was designed to be this way. It is designed to be a system that targets, arrests, imprisons Black and brown bodies, and we cannot deny that. We have seen in so many ways where people of color are disproportionately impacted by our carceral systems and our broken immigration systems, and Shakoure is one of them. And so, you know, even as we are here, and I'm here representing the New York City Public Advocate on this particular rally, I just want to encourage the community and those who are listening in to share this as widely as possible. There is so much that we can accomplish when we work together in unity, when we share information, and when we continue to fight back. The individuals, Julie and her team, everybody is doing what they need to do. They're quite competent, but we really do need more people who are on the ground, like Ravi New Sanctuary Baji, and people to support those organizations who are doing this critical and in some cases life-saving work for people like Shakoure. He is one case, but we have to remind ourselves that there are so many Shakoures all across this country. His life is important. He's a human. We need to treat him and everyone else who is caught up in the snare of the system with human dignity. So on behalf of our office, you know, of course, we are here. We're here to support the family in any way that we can. And we're going to continue to stand with advocates as we fight for justice for immigrant families and also for Black and brown people in this country who unfortunately are disproportionately affected by this carceral system and ICE, which needs to be abolished. So thank you so much, Kaji, and those are my remarks, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much. That is exactly right. We do want to remind people this is precisely why ICE needs to be abolished. So I would now love to invite Basma from Freedom to Thrive to share with us.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Kaji. It's really good to be in community with all of you virtually. Hi, Nathalie, Marlene. It's nice to also be connected with you and your family. I'll be brief. I think what's been said is super important, that these systems are absolutely working how they were designed to. The criminal legal system and the immigration system are really two sides of the same coin that's rooted in white supremacy and anti-Blackness and xenophobia. And, we've obviously seen what that looks like under this administration. And as, Khalil and others have pointed out, nothing new to this administration. The types of policies that target people like Shakoure, these sort of, law and order, tough on crime type things were not born in 2016. We know that they are long rooted in this country and they're absolutely disgusting. They need to go. Unfortunately, I'm not holding my breath for this upcoming administration. We know what Joe Biden has accomplished in his history. We know the types of people he's now surrounding his administration with. I think a lot of folks saw the news of Cecilia Munoz, who has been appointed as part of his transition team, who was one of the, monsters who really orchestrated so much family separation under Obama. And I think it's super important that we continue to raise awareness and fight back against what's happening to folks like Shakoure. And when we talk about free Shakoure, of course, we mean free them all, everyone inside detention and incarcerated in any place. And I know, Nathalie, you had asked sort of like, why is this happening? And of course, it's rooted in these racist, oppressive systems. And there's also, this profit. Bergen County might be a county jail in New Jersey, but New Jersey is home to Hudson County, Essex County, and also Elizabeth, the private detention center. And all of those institutions are absolutely banking and profiting off of family separation and off of mass incarceration. And we need to continue to fight. We need to continue to support folks, other Haitian folks, immigrants who've long been living in under precarity, as TPS and other protections have also gone on the chopping block throughout the past 4 or 5 years. And yes, we are demanding clemency, and we know that Governor Cuomo is not one to grant clemency often. He rarely uses it. It's absolutely a gubernatorial power that he should be utilizing, and we want to continue to put pressure on him. And I want to pass it over to my colleague and my comrade Lau from MPower Change, who I think can kind of walk us through just how all of us can stay involved. And these types of campaigns, these participatory defense campaigns, are what it takes to free them all. And so folks who are joining, we definitely want to invite you to stay connected to this campaign. There's, Lau can walk us through some of the ways you can do that. But want to say thank you. I want to express my complete solidarity with all folks incarcerated, and I hope we can bring folks home sooner than later.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Basma. So excited to be here today in community with you all and in solidarity with Shakoure and all his family and friends. So I'm just going to get right to it. I'm going to share my screen with y'all and show you the tools that we've put together for this campaign. So there's 2 ways right now, right after you get off this call or after you stop watching on Facebook, that you can get involved. And the first way is to go to empowerchange.org/email Shakoure, which is right up here. Here's the link right there. And on the left-hand side is information about his case. If you need any more information, if you'd like to understand like what the process of the campaign is going to be looking like. And on the right, all you have to do is put your name, your last name, your email, and your address. And here's a pre-written email that will go straight to Governor Cuomo. And you can add any information here that you want. If you want to add anything else, any other pieces that you find are really important, or if you want to share like a personal message, you can absolutely add. This is editable. And then you just click add your voice. And once you fill this out and add it, you'll get an email sent to you, and you can share the link to this petition. I'm sorry, the click to email tool on Facebook, Twitter, and share with your networks as well via email too. And then the other link is empowerchange.org/call-Shakoure. And this link is a little bit trickier, but I can definitely talk you through it. It's the same thing. You put your name, your last name, your email, your phone number. So this is key. And then you click make the call. So what this will take you to is have your phone handy and ready, as it says right here, because the second you click make the call, it'll connect you directly to the phone numbers that we're going to guide you to. So the first phone number that we're going to send you to is Executive Clemency Bureau. They seem to not really be picking up right now, and they're kind of directing folks to Governor Cuomo's office anyway. So if that ends up happening, no worries, just stay on the line, don't hang up, and the tool will immediately send you to the next number, which is Governor Cuomo's office. And there you can leave a phone number. I'm sorry, you can leave a voicemail, or you can share your comment. And so once you click make the call, this will direct you to a new page where you'll be able to have a script ready for you that you can read out loud. So everything is set up for you to take action like right after this. So once again, the links are empowerchange.org/call Shakoure, and this is case insensitive. So like you can write it like with a lowercase if you want to, it's no worries. And then same with /email Shakoure. So what we'll do is we'll be able to drum up as much energy, as much emails and calls, so that Cuomo knows that people are out here, they care about Shakoure, and they want a pardon. And hopefully what this will happen, because the pardons are usually granted like late November, December, because of the holidays, we have a much bigger chance of getting a pardon for Shakoure if we all kind of get on this now. And if you want to you can send these links to your friends, your networks, post them on social media. And if you need any more support for anything, in terms of graphics or any sample social media language that you might need, you can definitely reach out to us. My email is, and I'll write it right here because there's nowhere else to do it, but you can email me at empowerchange.org. So this is my email. Feel free to send me an email, and we can definitely take action together. Thank you so much. Just gonna leave it right there.
Thank you so much, Lau and Basma. It's really wonderful to have these concrete ways to help. And I just, as you put this up here, I had signed a petition before, but I believe this is different. So if you too have signed things, go ahead and put it in. Go ahead and send that email. It took me all of like 10 seconds to do, and I hope the rest of the 80 people who've been on can do the same and share it. As soon as you do it, share it. So thank you, everyone. Really inspiring time here, and just want to make sure I'm not missing any important messages. No, just many expressions of gratitude for everybody who's doing all this work. We love you, we're with you, and we're going to get this done, right? All right, thank you, everyone, and we're gonna shut this down so we can keep working.